Multiple news outlets have reported that the FBI is investigating financial transactions linked to the Argentine Football Association. However, the FBI has not publicly confirmed the reported investigation, and no charges have been filed against the AFA or any individual. Let that sink in for a moment. While Argentina were busy completing one of the most dramatic comebacks in World Cup history against Egypt, federal agents and Justice Department prosecutors were reportedly examining financial transactions involving Argentine football officials hundreds of miles away in Miami. The timing could not be more extraordinary. On the same night the world watched Lionel Messi drag his team back from the brink of elimination, American law enforcement were reportedly examining financial records linked to Argentine football. Today, we're examining two major stories unfolding at the same time and asking why their timing has fueled so much speculation. Let's start with the investigation itself, because the numbers are staggering. According to Argentine newspaper La Nación, which broke the story, the FBI is probing how the AFA moved more than $300 million to banks and companies in South Florida and elsewhere in the United States. We are talking about hundreds of millions of dollars flowing through the American financial system. Investigators are examining cash flows that circulated through U.S. banks including Citibank, Bank of America, J.P. Morgan Chase, PNC Bank, and Synovus. The focus of the investigation is a Florida-based company called Tourprod Enter LLC. This company, owned by theater producer Javier Ferroni and his wife Erica Gillette, was responsible for handling the AFA's financial operations outside Argentina. Documents reviewed by La Nación reportedly show that Tourprod Enter managed at least $260 million in AFA-related revenue. But here is where it gets interesting. Only a portion of this can be directly linked to identifiable operating expenses. An additional $57 million was reportedly distributed to various people and companies, though the documentation reportedly does not specify the purpose of those payments. Some of these wire transfers appear to have been sent to companies controlled by individuals who have received social welfare benefits in Argentina. Other financial transfers have been linked to Pablo Tovagino, the executive secretary and treasurer of the AFA. And then there is the payment that has raised the most eyebrows. The AFA reportedly paid $340,000 to the family of a person described as a spiritual guide who traveled with the national team to major tournaments. The payments, involving 17 transfers of $20,000 each, were made to the son of José Almaraz, a former player described as a spiritual guide close to AFA leadership. Almaraz traveled with the team to the World Cup in Qatar in 2022 and the Copa America in Miami in 2024. Argentina won both championships. Now, let's talk about who is reportedly leading this investigation. 3 federal prosecutors are at the helm. Patrick Gushue and Christopher Ting in Washington, D.C., and Michael Berger of the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida. These are prosecutors with significant experience handling cases involving financial crimes, money laundering, and bank fraud. The investigation reportedly began taking shape in 2025 and has gained momentum during the World Cup. In December 2025, a federal judge ordered more than 35 raids at the AFA's headquarters and at 17 professional clubs in Argentina. The timing of the announcement was also highly sensitive. AFA President Claudio Tapia was in the United States accompanying the Argentine national team to the World Cup. When asked whether AFA leaders could be summoned for questioning, a source familiar with the matter simply replied, "They are all here." But here is the crucial caveat. The FBI has not publicly confirmed that an investigation is underway, and no charges have been filed against the AFA or any individuals. Tomás Regalado, who is acting as an ambassador for the AFA in North America, recently stated that investigative measures alone do not determine responsibility or guilt. Now, let's examine what happened on the pitch against Egypt, because the timing of these two stories inevitably invited comparisons, even though no evidence has linked them. Egypt were leading 1-0 in the second half when Mostafa Zico scored what should have been a second goal. It was a devastating counterattack. Egypt broke at speed. The ball found its way to Zico, and he slotted it home. 2-0. Shirts came off. Celebrations erupted. But the video assistant referee started rewinding. Not to the final pass. Not to the offside line. All the way back to the other end of the pitch. Approximately 17 seconds earlier, to a moment when Egypt midfielder Marwan Adia was judged to have stepped on Lisandro Martinez's foot. The goal was scrubbed. Then, in stoppage time with the score level at 2-2, Egypt screamed for a penalty. Mohamed Salah went down in the Argentina penalty area. Contact was visible. Nothing was given. No VAR check was initiated. Argentina broke straight up the other end, and Enzo Fernandez scored the winner. Two incidents, two different standards, same referee, Frenchman François Letexier, same VAR team, same stadium, same night. Egypt's coach, Hassam Hassan, did not hold back. Perhaps they wanted to keep the world champion in the competition, he said. Perhaps they wanted Messi to stay in the running. His forward Zico was even more direct. It is clear that this tournament has been fixed. And then the Egyptian Football Association did something that losing teams almost never do. They filed a formal complaint with FIFA. They demanded an investigation into what they called double standards and blatant errors. They demanded the exclusion of referee François Letexier and his entire crew from the rest of the World Cup, and they alleged the crime of discrimination against the Egyptian national team. So now, we have two parallel stories unfolding at the same time. On one side, a reported federal investigation into hundreds of millions of dollars flowing through American banks, with ties to the AFA's leadership. On the other side, a World Cup campaign where Argentina's national team was simultaneously involved in matches featuring refereeing decisions that many analysts and supporters viewed as controversial. The coincidence led many fans to question whether the two stories were connected, although no evidence has been presented to establish such a link. And the pattern does not stop with the Egypt game. This is not an isolated incident. Argentina's run in this tournament has been marked by a series of questionable calls. During the group stage, Messi caught an Algeria player with a studs-up challenge and escaped without even a yellow card. Later in the tournament, a US player committed a near-identical foul and was sent straight off. Some commentators argued that the two incidents appeared similar but resulted in different disciplinary outcomes. In the 2022 World Cup, Argentina were awarded 5 penalties, the most any team has ever received in a single tournament, and in the quarterfinal against the Netherlands, Messi appeared to handle the ball and was not shown a second yellow card that many observers believed he had earned. To many fans and commentators, the repeated controversies created the perception of a pattern. When a team repeatedly receives the benefit of the doubt in crucial moments, questions inevitably follow. And now, with the FBI investigation hanging over the AFA, those questions take on a new dimension. The coincidence, whether real or perceived, has intensified public debate and fueled further speculation. FIFA's own response to Egypt's complaint only added fuel to the fire. Pierluigi Collina, FIFA's chief refereeing officer, came out swinging in defense of the officials. He insisted, nobody can question the integrity of the FIFA World Cup match officials. He declared, nobody can claim that FIFA refereeing can be influenced by anyone, not even by the FIFA president. He did not open an inquiry. He did not express concern. He did not promise to look into anything. He simply defended his officials and closed the door. And then FIFA made a decision that left the football world shaking its head. For the France versus Morocco quarterfinal, it appointed an entirely Argentine officiating team. In the exact same week, it was being accused of favoring Argentina. The appointment immediately sparked criticism because of its timing. The sequence of events intensified public debate and fueled further speculation. Now, let's be clear about what we know and what we do not know. The FBI investigation has been reported by multiple credible news outlets, including La Nación, the Miami Herald, UPI, and others. 3 federal prosecutors are reportedly leading it. Hundreds of millions of dollars are being examined. A Florida-based company is at the center of the probe, but there is no proof of any connection between the investigation and the refereeing decisions on the pitch. That is a leap that would require evidence we do not have. What we do have are multiple controversies that many observers believe created the appearance of a pattern. An ongoing investigation into financial transactions involving the AFA, a World Cup campaign marked by controversial decisions, and a governing body that critics say has struggled to avoid the appearance of bias. And that combination has led many fans and commentators to ask questions. The suspicion has metastasized into something larger than one match. It has become a running joke about the integrity of the tournament. And a running joke about integrity is arguably worse for a governing body than the original scandal. Because you can investigate an incident, but you cannot investigate a punchline. Egypt fly home with the best World Cup of their history, their first ever tournament win, their first group stage progression, their first knockout victory, and a permanent burning conviction that the biggest result they ever came close to was taken from them. Argentina march on to face Switzerland in the quarterfinals, chasing back-to-back World Cups. Messi crying tears of relief while a rival nation cries tears of injustice. The reported FBI investigation continues. The AFA has denied any wrongdoing. No charges have been filed, but the questions will not go away. Because when reports of a federal investigation coincide with a tournament marked by controversial refereeing decisions and persistent criticism of governance, public confidence is inevitably tested. Whether or not any wrongdoing is ever proven, the perception of unfairness has become a major part of the tournament's story. What do you think? Is there a connection between the FBI investigation and the refereeing decisions? Or is this just an extraordinary coincidence at an extraordinary time? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this analysis valuable, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates.